Hi guys, now that we've taken a look at primary and secondary in shape and just sort of a little introductory movement exploration, I thought it would be fun to do primary and secondary in activity. Hi guys, I know I keep talking about how much I love my exercise ball and how that's something that I work with usually every day. So today I thought we would do a movement exercise involving primary and secondary on the exercise ball. So what we're going to be looking at today are 4 phases on the exercise ball. So you can start just by sitting on the ball, regular comfortable position, and our first phase is going to be an active primary, which is going to then move into a reset secondary, and I know we haven't talked about that yet, but we will. And our reset secondary is going to take us into an active secondary and then to a reset primary, and this is sort of a cycle, so it can repeat, it can continue. So once you get to that reset primary, you can go into that active primary again and keep going like a loop. So I'll break down these 4 phases for you. So the first phase is the active primary. Now this is a little bit like what we did in my first video where we talked about primary and secondary. It's that roll down feeling. So what is most important about this is once we start to roll down, once we start to go into that fetal curve, what we want to be sure is happening is that the ball is moving, okay? If the ball is not moving, that means that our hips are not connected, and the direction we want the ball to move is backwards. So we're essentially going to be rolling ourselves fetally while allowing the ball to move backwards. And then once we get to the end of that active primary phase, what we're going to do is let that go. So we're going to refine a tiny bit of that front length. This is our reset secondary. And the ball is going to continue moving backwards as we find a little bit more front length. And then we're going to take that front length into an active secondary. So that active secondary is going to be a looking up, it's going to be an arching, and when we were in our active primary, we were rolling the ball backwards. With our active secondary, what we want to happen is for our ball to roll forwards. So as we are arching, our ball is rolling forwards, and then we're going to go into a reset primary. This means we're going to give up that active secondary. We're going to find a little bit more of that back length after activating all of the front length, and then our ball is going to continue moving forward. So if we were going to continue through this cycle, the next phase would be the active primary phase, where we would engage our ball backwards and go into that roll down and then just complete that cycle as many times as we want to be exploring the 4 phases on the ball. So as you can see, I'm going to start in a neutral position. Just sort of in the middle of my ball, somewhere comfortable. I like to do this without socks because it gives me a little bit more connection to the floor, so I'm not going to slide around as my exercise ball is moving backwards and forwards. And then what we're going to do is to go into that active primary again. So this is that conscious rolling down. We're going to make sure that the ball is moving backwards. And then once we get to the end of this active primary, we're going to let that activeness go. We're going to refine a little bit of that front length while continuing to allow our ball to go backwards. And then once we've found that front length and kept our ball going backwards, we are going to activate that front length, that active secondary, to arch us backwards. This is going to allow our ball to roll forwards. And then once we reach the end of this active secondary, what we're going to do is refine some of that back length in our reset primary, and our ball is going to continue rolling forward. And then if we wanted to continue through our phases, we would go into active primary again. So we're going to be actively rolling that ball backwards, finding that back length in our active primary, going again to let that that active primary go to keep our ball rolling backwards, but find some front length. And then we would allow that front length, that active secondary, that looking, to extend us into an arch, allowing our ball to go forward. And then letting that looking go, find a little bit of that back length, let our ball still go forward, and then that would be our reset primary. So as you guys are going through these phases, if you're doing them along at home, you can play with the rhythm. So you may find that you're doing everything sort of equally right now, your active phases and your reset phases, and that is totally fine. You can also play around with it, have really long active phases, really quick resets back into that really long active phase, or you can do a really short active phase, a really long reset, and then into a short active phase again. There's a lot that you can sort of play around with these. What's most important to remember and to pay attention to is to make sure that your ball is moving. So again, with our active primary, our ball should be moving backwards. Our reset secondary, our ball will keep moving backwards. As we go into our active secondary, that ball is going to move forwards, and then our reset primary, our ball is going to continue to go forwards. That just is going to allow our hips to continue to be in play. Otherwise, we have an easy time sort of pivoting everything just from our mid-back. But our hips are so important. We want to make sure that our torso is working as a whole, and that means that our hips are going to have to move in different ways. Now, you may have to adjust your feet or the way you're sitting or where you are a little bit to make that a little bit more comfortable. But that is definitely one of the things that we want to keep an eye on, have a little bit of awareness of as we are going through these 4 phases on the exercise ball. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed and got something out of participating through this one. This is one of the things that I love so much to do on the exercise ball. It was something that when we did it in my training course was just really, really valuable. So thank you guys so much for being a part of this. Remember to like, subscribe, and comment. I'm happy to hear what happened with you guys, what you're finding. If there's anything that you need help with, I am here to help. So thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I will see you next Friday for our next video.